Osiris.
Are live. Hi, everyone. We're here, and we're very excited to talk about last night's show. I'm Megan. I'm here with Ryan and Neil and Joey. Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Hey.
Happy birthday,
Another
Ryan.
day. Another episode,
happy birthday,
another
Ryan.
awesome show. Thank you. Thank you.
Very special day today.
Yes. You know what? I started off my birthday within the first 15 minutes of my birthday. We drove past Trey's bus on the highway.
Really?
So that was a pretty good way to start it off. I was happy about that. Unfortunately, you know, I couldn't be super creepy and like try to wave to him because, you know, the windows are all blacked out, which very unfortunate. But
yeah, I'm sure he knew you were there in spirit, Ryan.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a good omen for the show tonight anyway. I was guessing based on in Lowell the other night, I saw like a red tour bus that was like, you know, out of there 2 seconds after the show ended. And it was the same looking bus about, 45 minutes from Mohegan. So fairly certain it was him. Joey, are you in Glens Falls?
Yeah, I'm actually at Lake George. I'm at my buddy's house, and it is like gorgeous here. Like it's a beautiful house. We're like right on the lake. Like I wish you guys could see what I'm looking at.
Well, I'll see you tonight.
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely.
Awesome. So both of you guys are going to the show. Neil, you jumped off tour.
Yeah, I'm done. I did the first 3 and then I'm out.
Hey, you're doing Syracuse on Friday. You're coming.
Maybe. I mean,
it's happening.
We'll see how the week goes. I mean,
all 4 of us were there last night.
Yeah, we were all there, weren't we?
Yeah, we were all there.
Way to get us back on track, Ryan.
Thank you.
This is why you're here.
Yeah, we were all there last night.
I'm usually the one that gets it off track. It's
well, I'm nervous today a little bit because I am like a Goose noob. This is my 3rd Goose show. So to be on a podcast.
What were your first 2?
Talking about Goose, Radio City.
Oh, both are Radio City.
Yeah. So
now, are you aware, Megan, that you are on the podcast right now with the guy that leaked the Trey sit-in?
Oh, I am aware of this. Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
I know enough about that to know that. But yeah, and you know what? That's why I went tonight too. I wasn't supposed to go. And saw that pic, and then I ended up there. Yeah. No, I was thinking about it last night though, that seeing where Goose is right now for me, this is my 3rd show. That's like my Fish 1995. And then I was kind of thinking that's kind of like almost similar to where the band is, like Fish in 95 is kind of like where Goose is now almost. I don't know if you could say that, but like peaking and like, kind of like reaching bigger heights like constantly. So it was kind of cool to think about that, like both of those bands, when I started seeing them, they're kind of like in that same territory. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I thought maybe it could be true.
Yeah. I've always like wondered that. And I remember when the guys did a podcast with Tom and RJ, like back then it was like, oh, you guys are in like where Fish was like 90, 91, like starting to get onto the bus. You're going to get a couple buses now, maybe a couple trucks going into theaters. Now it's like getting introduced to arenas. So it's cool to have that timeline to reflect on and like, talk to Fish fans of the show and be like, I remember when it was like this exciting at this point. And, now it's going to, at some point, I know it's just going to get too big. And I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going on Dogs in a Pile tour because I want to stay in like smaller clubs. And it's cool to get that reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even so, I think Neil and Joey, you guys were both at Goosemas in February, Mohegan, right?
Yeah.
So hearing seeing the difference in Mohegan, last night versus in February was pretty staggering. Like, having the full capacity behind the stage, like all of that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joey.
You could tell, like, even from Goosemas, they tried to like do a lot of new stuff, like really reach this heights, especially because it was their first arena show. So obviously last night they did a couple new things, tried some stuff. Like, it's cool. They know they're in Connecticut. They want to do something really special for the crowd. So in that way, it was very similar.
Yeah.
Thinking back to Goosemas.
Yeah. And lots of, there were a few similarities vibe-wise later in the set we'll talk about. But let's start with, how it opened up. I think Animal was a great opener call.
Perfect.
I put up a big egg in fantasy last night, which – the show was amazing, so I'm not that upset about it. But, there were There were a bunch of songs that I knew I should have seen coming, and Animal was one of them. But I love this song. It's one of my favorites.
Ryan, even I think I called Animal, and I don't know anything about Goose.
I know.
So.
It was rookie move. I'm no longer winning the tour, but, we move on.
I mean,
the funny thing have a lot of days to go.
Yeah. The funny thing about the songs every night is you can't predict what they're going to play because they still have so much stuff they haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe we're 4 shows into tour now, and Goose hasn't played Hot Tea.
Yeah,
I thought we were doing Hot Tea last night.
No Hot Tea, no Madhavan. No Hunger Sight. Like, how are we this far in tour? And
Cali
they haven't
Magic
played Hunger
is on a
Sight
10-show gap right now.
Yeah. No Empress, no Seegers, no Born Hunger Sight, Creatures, Yeti, So Ready, Slow Ready, Mist.
There's
a lot of hits they haven't played yet.
No Jives.
No Jives.
No Jives at all.
Yeah, I thought for sure they would play Jive in Connecticut. Like, it just, it fits. And
Jive's becoming a bit of a rarity lately.
Totally.
Jive 2 has been,
Well, Jive 2 went 14 shows without getting played earlier this year or something. Or maybe it was 16.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. So, yeah, it is a crime. But so, like, when they started playing Animal, I was like, well, that makes sense. But, like, at the same time, like, I almost didn't see it coming because I kind of figured there were going to be some other songs coming first. And, but, it's too bad that Greg isn't here to talk about opening the show with a bang because he's been talking about the last 2 times he's been on.
Well, it's funny too because when he was on and I was watching the pod, I felt the same way, and I was having a text thread with Brian Brinkman, and we were arguing about that because I really thought the show at night 1 started kind of slow, and he disagreed, and we actually got into it a little bit because he was saying that he felt like the emotional impact of that first Goose set on that first night was so strong, and Tabs wasn't. And he was saying that, like, maybe like Tab should open for Goose. And I was like furious with him. Because I was like, this is like sacrilegious. He's not right, Ryan, because this is like, Trey has to have some ego. Like, the man is the reason all of these people are on these stages, right? So like he has to,
fair.
you don't get to that point in your career and like open for another band. Like that is just like, and
it's more
I'm going to show you my shirt today. And I'm wearing this shirt because I feel like everybody's kind of been like shitting on Tab a little bit on this tour. And maybe that's just because like Goose is so hot and Goose is absolutely crushing. And I agree. Every time I see Goose, they're like better than the last. I've only seen them 3 times, but like every time they leave me wanting like so much more. So I totally agree with that. But I think that like people underestimate what it takes to run a band like Tab the way that Trey runs it. Yeah. And like everybody just expects like, oh, you're playing awesome, like composed songs that are like with this like 8-piece band and it sounds perfect. And that's like boring, just like his level is so high that people expect him to like break down a new frontier every night or it's boring, And so I think that like, I'm just here to rep Tab tonight and say like they were smoking, but we'll get to that later, I guess. Okay,
yeah.
I've taken this off course.
You picked the perfect show to do
because last night is
I'm excited to talk about Tab. Like really excited to talk about Tab.
Awesome, me too. Yeah.
So
okay, so we're not there yet though, right?
No, we're not there. Let's keep talking about the Goose set. Flow Down was cool. Rick doing his usual dicking around with his delay pedal shenanigans, which was fun. And then Arrow Hollywood Nights Arrow. Let's talk about this because this was awesome. That was amazing. Rick popped a string like early on into the Arrow Jam too, and just pushed through Hollywood Nights with 5 strings, and then didn't swap until after the end of the song, which was crazy.
We talk about this on the pod a lot. Rick breaks more strings than any musician I've ever seen, and I don't think that's hyperbole. I mean, no E string is safe from Rick getting really into a song, and every time he breaks a string, something really cool happens. And I don't know why that happens that way, but like it's almost like he takes a break for a moment, like gets himself back in tune. Peter does a little bit of something, and then then he just rips, and he ripped on that one where he was doing like a lot of open string, playing, and like I don't know, it's like Billy String stuff, but it was really really good. That solo that kind of came at the end there, right before Hollywood Nights, was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that segue into Hollywood Nights was gorgeous, like effortless segue into Hollywood Nights. Loved it.
Yeah, it was really just that like whatever 4 chords he just laid down. It's like you could tell something was coming as soon as he started singing. Immediately, my mind went to Coach because he's been talking about Bob Seger, since I started following the bands. He's like, that's how he gets his beard, his hair. He's just trying to be 1970s Bob Seger. So like I've been waiting for them to cover it. I don't know, like Ryan, do you know, have they covered that song before? If it was like 2015, maybe?
I do know. It's recorded as being played twice before on elgoose.net, the last time being May 4th, 2018, which is 311 show gap. So
all right.
Pretty solid.
A long time.
So it was technically available on the fantasy list.
Correct. Technically you could have put
you picked
Hollywood Nights. It was possible. It was possible. But yeah, 5-4-18 bust out on that. Very, very exciting, and then they finish Arrow after. Just a great segment there. And, keeping the energy up with Dripfield after, 2 songs now breaking the Dripfield drought from the first 2 shows. So, we got Arrow and Dripfield. We talked about that yesterday. They were focusing a lot more on their non-album material. And as we, just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, like Still No Born, Hunger Site, etc. So I'm wondering if we see those tonight or later this week. But Dripfield, Neil, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I remember the 2 of us were together during Goosemas when they debuted Dripfield. And it really, struck us how the drums were just reverberating around the room. And I felt a very similar vibe during the song last night that just Dripfield goes very well inside that venue.
I mean, we were talking about this on the pod yesterday insofar as Goose's music translating to arenas. Yeah. That is like the arena song. And I didn't get the kind of the sound where I was because I was right on the rail. So it was just incredibly loud. I was deaf after the show. I couldn't hear a thing. But and Joey was right up there with me. But so I didn't get that kind of the echoing bassy sounds that we got when we saw it the first time there at Goosemas.
Yeah, I was right in front of Rick. I was just getting his guitar amp the whole time. And, I really couldn't hear Ben at all. I wasn't really hearing Peter. And I mean, for that show, it was like the Rick show last night, so I was fine with it. But a lot of those songs, it was tough to get the scope of the full thing on the rail.
Right. I thought where we were, Ryan, we were both in the same section. The sound was awesome. Yeah. I thought it was really, really great. Yeah, it was loud, but it sounded really full. It was great. Yeah,
nice spot, Trevor's side, with a good view of the stage. Yeah, there was a big stack pointing in our direction. So I think we benefited from some great sound there. And it was loud for sure. Mm-hmm. And then, after Dripfield, then we finally get, we're breaking out of just the Trey sit-ins. We're getting more stuff. They brought out the horns for Fish in the Sea, which I absolutely loved. Natalie and Jen were amazing, but really the highlight of this song for me was Rick and James going back and forth.
That was insane.
During the jam. Oh my God.
So were you getting those vibes from the night before where during the tab set, it was Trey and James were going back and forth. They were coming closer and closer together, making eye contact. And I feel in my mind, Rick saw that and he's like, I want to do that. So
I want that to be me.
You had the Natalie, you had the horn trade-off, and then all of a sudden the James-Rick trade-off was so cool to see. I hope they do more of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will, because I think they all loved it. I was dying to see the horns come out with Goose. That was my dream. So when they came out, I was like, yes, they waited for me. I'm so happy.
Yeah. I mean, that was really cool. And the original song has horns in it, right?
Yeah.
So it fits. I think the pedals that Rick uses when he kind of plays the guitar solo in that are meant to mimic horns, or is meant to mimic horns.
Oh, cool.
So that's, I think, why it sounded really cool when he was trading off with James. And the interesting thing about that is I was maybe 7 feet away from James, 8 feet away when that happened. And that solo almost didn't happen. I don't know if you guys picked up on that or if it showed up on the stream, but his in-ears were all messed up. And
he's done that a few times. Yeah, where he rips it out when he's soloing.
He ripped it out and then looked at Rick and just was and then Rick started playing a little longer, a little bit more of a measure, I guess, than he was supposed to. And I was like, oh no, this is I've been waiting for this, and it's not gonna happen. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he just went off,
yeah,
and it was incredible.
Like,
yeah,
he was just like, fuck it. Like maybe I hear it, maybe I don't. Like I'm just gonna play.
Yeah,
and
you could see like there was a point where Rick had his back turned to James, and James was trying to say, "Now it's your turn," but like Rick didn't see him, so James kind of just stopped playing. And I was like, all right, something was happening there. And then Rick came back in, and then they did that back and forth. Which, like you were saying, I was worried that like they missed something. It wasn't going to happen.
But Jen and Natalie, and I don't want to brush past how good Jen and Natalie were in that song because they were fantastic. I listened to it twice on the drive back because it just sounded so good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always amazing, but they were incredible last night. Some of their solos that they took were so like long and extended and like just so interesting. And like, it was so cool to hear them all trade off solos, like with different instruments. It was just like, this is like exactly what like this big band feeling, that Trey's always wanted, like this Sun Ra orchestra, like kind of like big vibe, it's like, it's really cool to see.
2 basses, which, so many people on stage. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah. And then, so, we're all riding high after the Fish in the Sea. I do also want to shout out Getty during that jam because he was painting the sections behind the stage with crazy patterns. And
that was gorgeous.
That was,
as soon as it started, it looked like, ripple on water, like the way it was coming over the back. I always love using people as a backdrop.
I hope we see a lot more, lighting like that because that was so cool.
Do you know the one that was all like almost looked like little stars, like it was all white? It was like the best picture I took all night. It was so pretty. Yeah.
Do you know any other venues that are having people sit behind the stage like Foley like that? Do we have?
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I guess we'll
find
out.
Once
we'll find out. Yeah, for sure.
Tonight's going to be interesting
if you're
for
sitting
sure.
behind the stage, let us know.
Yeah, tonight's going to be interesting for sure, because it's half the size of Mohegan, and we're back to the classic Northeast minor league hockey arena. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll speculate about tonight later. But after Fish in the Sea, like, where do they go from here? And if you didn't think the energy could get higher,
oh my God.
This was my first Factory Fiction, and I was very excited. And Trey just sounded so amazing on it, and I was very happy. And I'm sure Coach, who the song is often associated with him. He loves it. It was played at his wedding and stuff, and so and his birthday, and he's about to have a baby. So I'm sure must have been really, really special for him watching them play it with Trey. But man, this was so good.
Yeah,
this was amazing. Yeah,
I feel like we should offer.
Megan, you're spoiled.
No, I'm sorry, Megan. Go ahead.
Third show, you got a Factory Fiction.
I know. I got a text from Brian Brinkman, and he was like, "Factory Fiction with Trey," like all caps, like just like, oh my God. I was like, I didn't, it's like one of those things when you don't even know, you're like, oh yeah, like, I didn't even know that was like a rarity. This is great. It sounds awesome. But that's the kind of the beauty of being a noob, is that you don't really know like what you're getting is amazing or not. But honestly, last night, the energy was so high in that place for that song that I knew it was something special. And I thought the way that they were playing together was just, it's obvious that they love it, obviously. And like, I know you guys were joking yesterday on the pod about them falling in love. I think it's clear that they are in love, and like, let's all just embrace that and love it. I was actually thinking something really funny though during this song, and that Trey was standing between, Rick and Peter. And it's almost like the two sides of Trey. Like, Rick is like the, good looking, like Trey, now that he's older, has like the kind of like silver fox, like designer duds look, and Rick's like the good looking, like more designer guy. And then Peter's like the goofy, like silly side, of Trey. And I was just thinking, here's these like two sides of Trey, like battling it out, and like how much fun it is for Trey to play with these two musicians. But yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Could we note Trey's shirt too? As soon as he came out, I said nice shirt.
Barkley.
Tamara next to me said nice shirt, and then Peter on the mic was like, "Hey, nice shirt." Dude, he looked good.
It was a nice shirt.
I didn't hear that. Shirt. That's really
cool. Like got this black shirt with like this little purple. I don't know. It looks like very like 90s Trey, like a weird shirt he found at some thrift store or something.
It's great.
Yeah,
maybe
except it costs probably like $300. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least did the Fish Fashion account ID that?
That's what I was going to ask.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure they'll get there. Yeah.
But something that I think we were talking about yesterday, especially Tamara brought it up, is like are there certain songs that it's just going to be too hard for like, or just like too short notice for Trey to learn and like sit in with them? But I think him learning Factory Fiction proves that anything's on the table for him to be able to learn, especially with, dogs. Is that me?
Sorry, that's my dog Reba.
It's a $400 shirt.
Oh, really?
Embroidered satin shirt.
But
nothing but the best for Trey.
So I think the fact that he played Factory Fiction, like now, especially with the day off after the show tonight, now anything's on the table.
We'll see what happens.
Drive to Drive Lee.
I'm chasing a jive too still, so I would not mind that. But yeah, we mentioned earlier about the tab set. I think we also briefly touched on this. I think last night for sure, far and away the best tab set of the three so far. They were just firing on it. I think also the crowd was so on last night. Everybody was really into it, and man, Trey just destroyed during this set. Many times his tone stuck out to me. His playing just so good.
I totally agree, Ryan. And what's interesting is that at the beginning of the show, I was thinking it's impossible to match the energy that a band has when they're hungry, right?
Yeah.
You think about like an up and coming band, and that's kind of like getting attention and getting more, playing bigger spaces. You think about what that did for Fish in the early to mid 90s, like it just fueled them in this way. And I think that that's what's going on with Goose right now. And that's why it's like so thrilling to see them right now. But I think that like, I was kind of like thinking, well, of course, Trey's not playing that way because he has nothing to prove, right? He's not hungry. He's made it. And then he came out last night and I thought he played like it was the last time he was going to get to play guitar. I mean, he was playing 110%, dancing, thrashing, like totally focused, leading, just super high energy. I thought the flow and setlist construction of this set was just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was all heaters. I feel like they're going back and forth of what stuck out of like Goose tab. So like night one, tab really stuck out. Night two, Goose really stuck out. Last night, tab was like a lot of moments in that are going to be stuck in my head forever. But yeah, energy wise, it was just heaters nonstop. It was great.
Bangers.
So, in a weird reversal, I'm kind of a tab noob. Last night was my third tab show.
Oh, so this is perfect.
I'm in the process of getting sold on tab, and last night did it. I like tweeted about that this morning when I woke up. I was like, yes, or maybe it was last night before I went to bed, but I am now 100% sold on tab. Like I'm going back, and I'm going to go see these shows because it was incredible. The whole entire set, I couldn't believe how much energy there was in it and how well everybody was playing, but it was absolutely fantastic.
I mean, the caliber of their musicianship is just so out of this world. I mean, they're all just like next level. And the way they play together is truly incredible. They're such an ensemble. It's like amazing. Yeah, they all bring something so unique. It was funny because during set break, I went down and hung out with Ryan's parents. It was awesome. I got to have some really nice conversations. I'm a big fan of your mom, so I was really desperate to meet her.
She's
and
really
we
cool.
were talking. She's so awesome. And they were telling me all kinds of great stories about when you were a little kid, which was really fun. And then I was talking to your dad about J-Rad because I was at the J-Rad show on Thursday night, which was insane. And it was so good. Talk about all bangers. And we were talking about how good that band is. And I hope your dad doesn't get mad at me, Ryan, but Rob was like, oh, well, I think sometimes that I would choose to see J-Rad over tab. And I was like, shut your mouth. Like, that's not right. This is like, yes, exactly. I love J-Rad. They're like top of my list for sure. But I was like, you can't put them over Trey. Like, that's just it's not appropriate. And so this morning I got a message. We can't. They're a cover band, even though they're insane.
I might agree with my dad. I don't know.
Anyway, then I'm just going to tell you, your dad doesn't think that anymore. Your dad sent me a message this morning and said, I no longer pick J-Rad over tab. So mission accomplished, right? Nice job last night. Yeah. So I think we won the argument. But yeah, last night I thought was just one of the best tab sets I've seen in a while. And I've seen a lot of good tab sets. But just the flow, I mean, coming in with Sand, I love to hear Sand with tab almost more than I like to hear it with Fish because they just like, it's just so good. It's so juicy and like full and such a great sound. I think the whole rest of the set, Into Night Speaks to a Woman, is just one of my favorite things to hear them play.
I love that
fire. Song. Such fire, right? And then Mercy, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just absolutely beautiful. He's finding like the best spots for these Lonely Trip and, you know, the Mercy songs. And this song, Mercy, is absolutely stunning. It's really pretty.
For those of you who don't know, Mercy was actually composed out of that like recorded piano intro that played before every Ghost of the Forest show. And so they took that and he wrote the song around that piano part that I believe was played by Jeff Tansky. Cool. Yeah, it was debuted. I'm pretty sure with the Angels 3 week of the Beacon Jams, with Celeste, Joe, and Jen on vocals. But yeah, just interesting tidbit for anybody who didn't know that. But yeah, that song was great. I also really liked And Flew Away. I think that's a good one. It just kind of like lands after a song.
I totally forgot about that second jam, like the actual "And Flew Away" like chorus.
Yeah,
it just like, always sneaks up on me and go, "Oh yeah, like it's time to rock." I forgot about this.
Yeah,
and then, it has like that nice composition. That song is very like has really strong sections.
Yeah. And then highlighted the set before the members of Goose came out. This About to Run, like
amazing.
Like you know his tone, just like crunchy and beefy, and just the way he was. It was amazing. And Desron has been sticking out to me the last few nights, you know, not having seen him play with Tab before Wednesday. Oh my God. You know, his bass playing is incredible. And the way he locks in with Russ and Ciro, like, you know, during, I think it was No Men, he like, you know, rotated 90 degrees and was like facing Russ during that groove. So good.
Yeah,
so good.
I got to see him play with Robbie Coltrane a couple weeks ago at Village Underground, and like that's like the hardest like jazz you could possibly see. So like to see him rip on stand-up bass, and then to see where in this he's just funk pocket bass, like just nonstop grooving. It's awesome. Yeah. So I hope to see more out of him.
That is so cool. Yeah, I agree. I'm always kind of like zeroing in on him and just watching him just like grooving there. Between him and James, the way that they both dance on stage, I'm like, yes, so awesome.
The coolest people alive.
The coolest people alive, totally. Yeah. On that About to Run, though, it was like funny because when Fish first started playing that song, my friend and I used to like about to run to the bathroom during that song. That was like our joke. Like, okay, it's about to run. It's time to go. And sometimes you can actually do it and make it back before it gets like super interesting. But last night's wasn't even that long, but it was so good.
6
like when
minutes.
I listened, when I listened back to it today, I was like, I thought it was at least like 12. I don't know. I mean, I was definitely like losing track of time, but it was so good. My friend was like recording it. She's like, I'm 100% sold on this song now. I'm like, me too. I'm in. It was great.
Yeah, I turned to the person next to me and I said, this might be my favorite song. And then the next song came. But
I was waiting for the push on till the day. I was waiting.
Yeah, I knew it.
I love Megan was texting me earlier asking if I had the video of the part where, you know, Trey starts like running in circles during that build towards the end.
But then also, no, the one I wanted the video of, Ryan, isn't the circle one. There's like
it's not?
Parts. No, he was like out at the edge of the stage, like thrashing and like dancing. Do you remember that, Neil? He was like running like all through the stage and he was like wildly dancing. It was like, I haven't seen him do that in a long time. That was amazing.
I mean, like his body language was amazing in that solo. And I mean, it all came out in the solo too. That was the highlight of the night for me. There were many amazing things that happened at this show. And, you know, and I love Goose, but Trey is my true first love. And I've been seeing him for a really, really long time. And to see him, I mean, do full Trey from where I was standing and like 100% invested in the solo that he was playing. I mean, I'm going to remember that forever. Like that is like burned into my brain. But yeah, the intensity in his face, you know, RJ was talking about like Trey's intensity yesterday on the podcast. Yeah. Like I was seeing it there. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of space. A lot of,
oh yeah. A lot of like, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of claws, the canines are out. And I was listening back to that Bonnaroo O2 Push On Till the Day, like that, just the jam part. Mm-hmm. And it just goes on forever. And they do that little like slide in the horn section, like ba-da, bam. So I was doing that like on the rail, like trying to get the slide going. But I mean, there's not enough room to slide. So I was just bumping into people like an asshole.
That's awesome.
We can do that.
Yeah. We'll get that going the next time I play it.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
I was thinking about that with the gays too, when you guys were talking about that yesterday on the pod, how like intense it must be for Rick to be stared at by Trey. Like, can you imagine like staring like this person who you like look up to so much, just looking at you so much, like, and you're in front of all these
while
people,
you're
like
playing.
Yeah, like
in front
this
of
pressure.
people.
I feel like Rick is delivering on another level under this pressure. Like, obviously he's ready for it, but like the pressure is a lot, you know? It's a big deal.
Yeah, and then Trey brought Rick and Peter on stage for No Men in 46 Days, but man, he did not hold back again. Continuing from About to Run and Push On, he was just ripping through these songs, and I feel like he even caught Rick a little bit off guard last night with how crazy he was being. Because I think Trey definitely in the sit-ins on the first two nights was giving more floor to Rick to kind of solo and take stand out. It just seemed like last night Trey was just so in the zone. It was just like I'm ripping here. Like I'm doing this.
Yeah,
and
catch
it was
up.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still Big Daddy.
It's true.
We keep mentioning Allman Brothers, and everyone keeps mentioning Allman Brothers. Everyone, like when we talk about those guitar harmonies, like that's the first thing that comes to people's minds. So somebody mentioned like just play In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, like just like let's get it over with. Let's just do it.
Yeah. I mean, and J-Rad played it on Thursday night.
Oh
really?
Their cover of it is so good.
Yeah.
My friend turned to me. She's like, I don't know if I'm like too high, but like, are they playing like In Memory of Elizabeth Reed? We were like dying. It was so good. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really good.
If they do it though, they have to do it with two bass players.
Yeah. Of course.
I don't think it's going to happen because I don't see Goose and Tab covering the Allman Brothers together as nice as that would be.
No.
But a 13-person In Memory of Elizabeth Reed is pretty nice.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen on this tour. I think a lot of unexpected things have already happened, right? That Slow Llama, I think, was the first time that was ever done by Tab.
Yep.
And the Wolfman's Brother was the first time it was ever full Tab doing it. So they're doing things. I mean, of course, that's in their catalog and in the Fish catalog and whatever, but there are unexpected things happening everywhere. The Factory Fiction, I never would have imagined would have been played on this tour. Fish in the Sea also wasn't sure if they were going to do covers for sit-ins. Yeah,
and I'm still hoping we do get the, Trey sits in with Goose on a Fish song, or, they sit in with Tab on a Goose song, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. Yeah. I thought that this was one of the more successful, like full Goose with Tab, or most of Goose with Tab sit-ins. I just felt like the sound, the first night especially, I thought it just like was a lot. Like the Wolfman's, I was like, there's a lot of people playing instruments. But I felt like in No Men, it sounded great. Like I thought it worked really, really well. And obviously I think the Carini was just the perfect encore to such a awesome show, and
sometimes
I great.
You need two bass players, and this is one of those times.
Exactly.
I was like, are they going to do First Tube again? Like, no way.
Yeah.
And then,
I don't know if you guys how good your view of Jeff was during Carini, but he was having the time of his life up there on percussion. That was hilarious. But that was
him and Ben started doing the clapping tower. Like they were really getting into
the clapping tower.
That was awesome. That got like a huge reaction from the crowd.
Ciro was really digging what they were doing too. Like, and
he had
those big like bags of things. Yeah, he was just like these
Jeff at the
bags.
end when he was like rattling Ciro's bundle of like, empty tuna cans or whatever. How that thing is. He was just like,
chains. He just picking up everything.
Yeah.
But then I always think this every time I see Jeff sit in on percussion with another band, it's the best I see him play percussion. Like when we saw him with Dogs in a Pile at Row 8 and when Jed opened up, like he just sat in and like you could tell the kid like practices his rudiments. He knows how to play percussion. And when he goes on those bells on the table in front,
kid.
Yeah, that's some of the best I think I've seen him play at least. So it's really cool to see him get into it like that and just really just having fun.
Yeah.
That's
and then
awesome.
at the end, as they were finishing, Ciro put like one of his like big bundles of like something he shakes on his head like a wig and was like making faces at Ben.
I didn't see that. That's amazing.
I was just watching. I was like, this is hilarious. Like this is the best thing I've ever seen. Desron and Trevor were doing their unison stepping thing again.
That was cool.
Something I'm wondering is Jeff's kit going to grow from this influence from Ciro? Is he going to pick up weird instruments? I think he should.
Yeah, 100%.
It'd be hard not to, I'm sure, right? Yeah. That's awesome.
And we're still waiting for that Jeff saxophone sit-in that
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Teased on Twitter the other day.
Tease, huh? Yeah.
Maybe they just played at soundcheck, But I'm hoping it happens because that would be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens at tonight's show, what kind of sit-ins, but it's going to be awesome. I'm very sad to have to hop off tour after tonight until Friday when I do one more show in Syracuse. But man, this tour has been incredible so far.
That's so fun. I also think that it is kind of annoying when people say this, but I think it is different to watch it than just listen, because you really see like so much of what's going on between everybody. And it's just, that's kind of part of the magic of these shows, I think. And it was really great to be there in person. This is my only show of the tour, so I feel like I got a good one.
Yeah.
It was my favorite of the tour so far. So you showed up just in time.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every show, I'm like, it can't possibly get any better. They can't surprise us anymore.
Yeah.
And yet they are. So the fact there's 5 more shows, like the amount of stuff they probably have in their back pocket, I can't imagine. So.
Yeah, the thing I'm looking for. I don't know if Goose is going to at this rate, but we're also only 3 shows in, so I would say probably in a couple of shows.
It would be a great feat if they didn't repeat any songs.
I mean, they've done 8 sets with no repeats before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if they try to do no repeats, like the shows are going to get really slow.
That's true. They played a lot of
I don't think they can do it. Yeah. You're going to get like Seekers taking up like a huge chunk of the one set that you get.
Seekers, Shelf, Honeybee.
Yeah. Get those songs in there. And I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah.
What I'm really hoping for, tonight and the rest of the tour is we get, the first thing that Trey did with them was play a 20-minute insane All I Need that, is currently on my playlist in my top 10 for the year. I'm really hoping we get some more jams where they get adventurous, where they go deep and they're not just focusing on the Allman Brothers, guitar playing stuff, as amazing as that is. And I will not complain if and when they continue to do that. The jam nerd in me really, really wants to hear what they can do improvisationally if they keep pushing each other like that. So really hoping something like that comes out tonight. Maybe a really big Hunger Site. Who knows?
Yeah. So that's the one thing I feel like we didn't get from the Goose set was like that improvisation where the Wisteria we got, the All I Need we got. Factory Fiction, obviously very technical. There's a little bit of a jam in there, but I was worried that like, maybe the people just coming tonight were going to miss out on that ability they had. But the Tab set, like they went deep into it. All those licks that like, I was like, they were the special moments from the first 2 nights. I feel like we still got. So yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. Like
I would also love, if they do Modavon or something like that, Peter on guitar, little 3 guitar jam.
Yeah. I want him to step down and do like a 3-way little trade-off.
Like they did at Radio City.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that might happen last night. I think I couldn't really tell what point it was, but I saw Peter come down on guitar and I was like, oh, is this
during Dripfield?
Yeah, I was like, is Trey going to come out now? Like, while Peter's on guitar, but my friend was like, probably not yet. Yeah, so it was a little too early. But yeah,
there were a couple times I was like, what if like Trey just came out in the middle of the song? Like,
what if?
I know, I think that'd be so cool.
He's just like, I'm going up. Like, I just want to start playing.
You can see
he's probably back there,
exactly.
Like, dying to anyway.
Exactly.
Just appear out of nowhere, or actually just start playing from behind stage and just like freak everybody out.
Megan, as new Goose fans, you get that reference, the Grippo. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
nice. In for anybody who doesn't know, behind that reference, in 2020 when Dave Grippo sat in with Goose, I think they had practiced a few tunes at soundcheck with him, but that at that time it was like a whole, holy shit, Dave Grippo is going to play with us, and they were just kind of like, if you want to hop up during whatever tunes, like hop up whenever. And
like
during the opening Time to Flee, like 10 minutes into the jam, they've just got into this kind of spacey mode, and Grippo just walks on stage and starts playing, and you can see on the video that's on YouTube, the camera's on Rick when Grippo plays his first notes as he's like coming on, and you can see Rick just kind of be like okay,
like scared.
I don't think I realized it was the first song. That's hilarious.
Yeah, the opener of the show.
Didn't leave the stage.
Yeah,
and then the one song they needed him for, they couldn't find him. When they came back,
the second set opener, when they did Moving Out, they were like, okay, well, Grippo is supposed to be. Then he came on partway through. Yeah, that's a great show. If anybody has not heard that show, 10-2-20, absolutely incredible. All-timer Creatures and Flea with Grippo. Great drive.
So Moving Out with Horns is on the table.
Moving Out with Horns is on the table.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the Creatures with Horns.
I think I mentioned it yesterday, but I want to hear the Horns sing lead on either a Goose song or, a cover with Goose, or even on tab, like just, maybe a 1977, obviously, with Natalie. Like, that would be tight.
As long as you're on the rail for it.
Yes, of course I need to be. That's what tonight I'm like hanging with friends at their house. Like, they want to take their time. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just stand in the seats. But like,
and then that's when they're going to play 1977.
He won't play as good. Yeah, exactly.
It bears mentioning though that the chemistry is palpable with Goose and the Horns. Mm-hmm. It's not just like Horns coming out and sitting in. They are actually, they just sound really good together, right?
Oh, I like that caution call. That's a good one.
Yeah. Caution with Horns.
They did that.
I would really like I thought we were going to get a hot tea with Horns. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, I think it's coming.
It's coming. Yeah. It's probably tonight. Yeah. And then the Madavon with Trey has to be done.
The Madavon Anastasio coined by Norway.
And like I can think of no better song for Trey to show up and do the Machine Gun Trey thing in a Goose set. I'm longing for it. Like I just need to have it.
Yeah.
So
maybe it'll happen tonight. The one night you're not here.
Yeah, well, I mean that's generally how it goes down. The show where I jump off, it's like it's amazing right after.
So let's hope that that trend continues tonight.
Right.
Really looking forward to it. I'm heading over shortly. Going to go snag a poster. Get ready. Very excited for tonight. Nice GA venue. Going to try to snag my Peter side seats where we were on the first night in Portland. But yeah, tonight's going to be fun. The rest of the tour is going to be fun. We'll be back here tomorrow at 3. The huge.
I may be in the car, so apologize.
I may also be in the car. Got a 7-hour drive back to Toronto tomorrow.
And I can drive to Buffalo.
So are we going to get an American Woman tonight for your birthday, Ryan? That's the question. I ran into Jeff last night in the casino, and I should have said it.
That was your moment.
I blew it.
That's awesome.
They haven't played it since February, so
Ian Moby with Horns. That's a birthday wish, Ryan.
I might again if they play Moby tonight, I may not be on the pod tomorrow because I may not exist anymore.
Well, luckily you'll have lots of people to document you, hopefully, so we can see those videos of you losing your mind.
Whatever happens, I'm gonna lose my mind for 3 hours or
Absolutely.
4 hours or however.
Yeah, that's why we do this, right?
Yeah, we are back also as per Goose social media. We're back to 7:45 start. Still not sure why they did the slightly earlier last night. Maybe there was some curfew issue at Mohegan.
Well, I heard the lines to get in were tough too, so maybe just give the people expectation, like get there early because it's going to be long. But
that's fair.
Ryan, I noticed you didn't do your sponsorship, so I just want to add in this show brought to you by Labatt Blue, upstate New York's finest. Get your Labatts, come up to Glens Falls. It's going to be a heater. Never miss a Sunday show.
It's going to be a good time tonight.
I love that. Yeah. I need to just thank our friends at Sunset Lake CBD. They are the best CBD. We love them. They ship directly from their farm to your door, and they have all kinds of incredible products that we all love. They've got salve, they've got sleep gummies, they've got stuff for your dog, like my crazy dog you heard earlier really needs their CBD. So check them out if you haven't yet. It's sunsetlakecbd.com, and you can use the coupon code HFPOD, and you're going to get 20% off your products. So check them out.
You guys have a better discount on CBD than we do on mushrooms. It's pretty good.
Well, maybe mushrooms are a little bit more harder to cultivate, Who
knows? Who knows? Get your mushrooms, get your CBD.
If you're listening, who knows?
We're not sure. Well, I won't be on the pod tomorrow. I won't be back till next week because I'm working and I can't be there, but I'll be there on the weekend and I think I'll be there on Friday. So I'm looking forward to
see you on Friday.
Jumping on with you guys. Yeah. Thanks for having me and giving this Goose noob a lesson. It was great.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Pleasure.
Osiris.